Well, buddy, I don't know what to talk about first. I went camping, and the Seahawks season is doomed. Which one do you want to talk about?
I mean, this is a Seahawks podcast. Probably the latter.
Okay, so camping. All right. So I was up in Big Bear, California, and I found where I was down this hiking trail, and there were these big holes in the ground under these boulders, look like caves, So, of course, I had to grab my headlamp and dive down in there, see what's up. And I guess my question for you is, do you like camping? And also, would you just dive into a hole in the ground for fun? Oh, yeah.
No,
I put it on Instagram. Look at that.
Oh, wow. You went in there great outdoors style, huh?
Yeah, dude. I told my buddy, I was with my buddy Marty. Shout out to Marty. And I just told him, I was like, hey, man, you stay up here and go for help if we need it. And he was like, you're not going down there. And I was like, yeah, I am. And then he did too after me. But, I'm not going to
put back in 5 minutes. Just wait longer.
Look at that, man. Headlight on? Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm an indoor cat, man. Nah, you can have that camping. It's just I think I had a bad experience, and it wasn't a bad experience, but I only had one experience, which is why I haven't gone again. So what
happened?
We
gotta know.
Yeah.
What happened?
I'm gonna tell you.
Oh, okay.
When you're not doing well in school at Maine, there's an outdoor leadership. There's an outdoor leadership class. So I was failing a couple credits or classes, and this was a way. But I mean, it's a hard way to get back eligible or on the right side of the GPA. And so, it's a week-long course, and for the first 3 or 4 days, we're in a classroom. It's really nothing too serious. We get out there. There's a little canoe and a river that we go down. I was like, this is easy. This is cake, right? And then he's like, all right, the last 3 days, we're going up to the mountains. And I was like, what? And I guess he was preparing us. Had I paid attention, I would have known, for the 3 days of living in a tent, outhouse only. If you're going to shower with a bar of soap in the river, which was freezing. Yeah. So, that wasn't for me, man.
I'm into it, dude. We didn't even have a house this time. It's just, you're in the woods, dude.
Yeah, right. I've seen your RV. That thing's better than some houses.
Whatever, man. I got old Yukon. I turned into a camping truck. There's no bathroom in there. Whatever. Also, the Seahawks season is doomed. So we need to start the show because we got to talk about our team. Okay. All right. Let's start the show. Hit the theme song. Let's do it.
Let's get this crowd going now. Come on, get him up, get him up, get him up. Hawks on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Lofa Tatupu is up in the mix.
Go Hawks.
I'm just about that action, boss.
Takes the snap. He's going to throw down the middle. What a catch.
It's intercepted by Lofa Tatupu.
Holy can't miss.
Hey, that's great football now.
It's going to work now. Let's keep playing.
Who's got my back?
I got your back.
That's Lofa. The player.
Trouble plant. Thunder. On one, ready.
Russell looking. Russell scrambling. Pump faking. Still looking. Now he spins out.
We got to fly, baby.
40 down the far sideline. He's still moving. He's going to go.
20, 10. They do it again. Touchdown. Touchdown. Seahawks.
It's the Seahawks podcast on the Bleav Sports Network. I started low this time and then went high. Change it up on you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. We're also on Brinks.tv. My man Lofa Tatupu is joining us as always. Seahawks All-Pro linebacker. What's up, buddy?
How you doing, brother?
Hanging in there, man. You guys can email the show, send us your comments, send us your questions, seahawkspod@gmail.com. Also, hit us up on any social media at Bleav in Seahawks. Okay, the Seahawks season is over, Lofa, and we got to talk about it. But first, betonline.ag. Feel free to improv or riff about betting, or you can just say, and now a word from our sponsor. If you're into sports betting, BetOnline is where you should go to win some money today. Seriously, I mean, these guys have everything that you can wager on. You can be throwing down your Super Bowl picks already, NFC champion picks, AFC champion picks, baseball's going on. Kraken season is almost upon us, so the NHL is coming soon. UFC. They also have a casino with table games and slot machines and all kinds of other ways that you can be winning money at betonline.ag. Use our promo code
Bleav BLEAV.
For a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. So before the next big game, head over to Bet Online and start playing today. Bet Online, your online sports book experts. Lofa, the Seahawks played a game with the Raiders. They lost 20-7. It was pretty sloppy. I don't know. I found it kind of boring, to be honest. I don't even know why we're doing the preseason anymore. Hot take. We'll talk about that maybe a little bit later. No Jamal, no Dwayne. Gino's getting sacked with people coming off the edge. I'm scared to death, dude. The season is over. It's doomed. Let's just pack it in and not even play, right?
No. I mean, look, I know it wasn't the prettiest game. It was tough. I'm sure, going into the half, it was 13-0 or trailing. Didn't even put a point on the board. And it seemed like the game was not as close as 20-7 or 20-6. It was, it felt like they kind of, took it to us. But I mean, some bright spots in there. And
what are your thoughts in general? Because at least they weren't wearing shorts and shirts,
Yeah. No, I thought, our pass rush showed up, and that's encouraging because that was our strength last year. And it's like, okay, we probably even a little deeper this year up front. And so that has to show up. And it did. There was a lot of pressure supplied by, everybody up front. So that was encouraging.
Yeah, I would say that was a bright spot for me too. Let's see. I think I wrote down, okay, I got the offense here later. I mean, I wanted to start with then, I guess, the young guys, because we didn't really see any of the old guys play at all. Like any of the starters, everybody was sitting. This was a game for the young guys, for the Raiders too, not just on our team. And it seemed like that's how the whole NFL handled this week one of this only 3-game now preseason that we got.
Yeah, a lot of young guys, and that's what I expected to see. With 3 games, who knows how they're going to – I don't know. Is game 2 next week? Is this going to be our dress rehearsal and then give them another week off? That last one, but it almost seems like there's a mini bye week at the end of camp. So I'd expect them maybe to play it like the 3rd game is the dress rehearsal. So we'll see how it goes. But saw a ton of young players, and it was good just to see them get their feet wet and play some football.
Who stood out to you? Anybody flash? Catch that scouting eye of yours?
Yeah. My man Neil all over the place again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just specifically talking defense right now. Up front, Sheem really showed up. I think he had like 4 or 5 of the pressures and a sack, right?
Yeah, Rasheem Green ended up with 5 quarterback pressures and 1 sack on 17 passing downs or pass rushing downs.
And there were sometimes he got in so quick that the quarterback just saw him was, escaping. And it's like, there's nowhere for, you can't, blame Sheem for not making the sack. He forced him out of the pocket and on the run. So,
well, and he's got that big neck roll, dude, which is kind of sick. He looks like such a throwback out there, right? It's pretty awesome.
It is. But, I was encouraged by that and happy to see him out there doing his thing because, he's a kid we've had a lot of high expectations for and, just got to get those reps in. So,
he had a great game. Yeah.
Linebackers, I thought they all looked pretty solid. Barton really, the two sacks he added, one, it looked like it was a designated pressure, and the other one looked like a hug up to the running back where he just found, the back blocked and he found a seam coming up the middle. So it's that's something you really can't teach in terms of instincts. And then he showed great burst getting through the line of scrimmage to make those.
Yeah, man. I mean, I thought all the linebackers, I think we're real deep at linebacker, right? Like that seems like a real strong position. I know you're watching those guys. I mean, Ben Burke-Irvin, our guy from UW, he was all over the place on teams as well. And Jordan Brooks just looks fast and looks hungry. I thought that was a real bright spot for me in the game.
Yeah, I feel like we could always use one veteran linebacker, though. It's just me, maybe.
I think we'll talk about him a little bit later in our zone segment, actually.
Okay.
Pete Carroll mentioned Alton Robinson and Darrell Taylor by name in his post-game press conference. He really wanted to make sure to shout those guys out. Darrell Taylor hasn't got to put on the uniform yet, even though this is his second season with the team. So good to see him out there running around. He's wearing number 52. If you're looking for him, there he is. coming around the corner there. It's weird for me as a fan every time we tune into the first preseason game to get used to all the new numbers, and especially with guys wearing the single digits, because it looks like they must be like undrafted free agents or something. But then it's like our guys who we think might be battling for starter. Was it weird for you too? It was weird for me to get used to everybody in the uniforms.
Well, you're used to it in preseason, right? It's going to be weird come game day when the regular season starts. You see Diggs out there in 6 or Dunlap in 8.
Unless we're in number 8.
Yeah. But no, I mean it's cool, man. And Taylor looked good. Robinson, we were running a lot of that stick front, which has them kind of stand up outside DN/linebackers, and they look good. They look pretty solid dropping into coverage. And I think that's really that's a tall order for someone who's primarily only rushed the passer, and that's something that we were able to do with Bruce Irvin. But I don't know if these guys are quite the athlete that Bruce was. Yeah. So we'll see, because you saw the first long, it was out and up, on Alden Robinson. I mean, it was a hell of a job by the big guy just turning and running.
Yeah, I mean, good effort, but come on. I'm glad you brought up that play, because I was going to bring up that play specifically. I mean, we don't want to see that come regular season time.
Well, I mean, that's where you're going to get attacked. They're going to go to the flats, and that's your primary responsibility is the flats. But if you have to and through the zone or someone that goes flat and up, the corner is going to start, when he sees that flat, he's going to overlap over 2 if there's a 2 vertical. And so right there, you saw an instance of like, okay, this is how we're going to get exploited in terms of coverage if this is the front we choose to use as our base front. And base just means like our go-to. Like we don't know if they're running or passing. We just should get something out there. And they run the stick front with, it looks like a 3-4 variation of a defense with Bobby and Brooks kind of covered up in all gaps. They just get to run free. But Taylor, I was encouraged that they did throw the flats one time on his side. He ran out there with great speed. He didn't overrun it. He broke down. He hit the guy really square, really flush, and knocked him out of bounds. It was a really athletic play.
So the defense, I mean, they had some great moments, and these guys were playing hard, like we said. But let's flip over to the offense for a second, because brand new offense, Shane Waldron, first game calling plays for the Seahawks, first action. And, I mean, how fair is it to him that it's not the starters? I mean, is this even good for the team to be out there doing a brand new offense with without the guys? I mean, the offense looked sloppy. It didn't seem like they had much energy. I mean, most of the yards came on the one play for DJ Dallas. Let's get into the offense here, because I'm nervous.
Yeah, I mean, you have every right to be nervous with the showing we had, but the sky's not falling, believe it or not. It was, like you said, it was the backups. What was probably more concerning before we close and go to the offense was, Nathan Peterman, a guy that we've seen routinely have trouble playing in the NFL. And, no offense to him, playing quarterback's hard. But we've seen 5 or 6 interceptions and a half, and he carved us up. With the secondary, I just want to see guys challenge a little more. I was expecting to see them step up and not give so much cushion and coverage. But now in offense, I don't think this isn't a fair gauge to see where we're at and say, this was the test. And I know everybody's like, well, where was the up tempo offense? Well, you don't have Russ in there, and that's probably who's going to be running it when they do. So not fair to judge him off this first one, and but yeah, definitely some things to work on. And that's what I was going to say. Like I think a lot of work to be done, but the problem is with the way that the NFL is now, and the new collective bargaining, and the guys not really playing in the preseason, and there's only three games now. Like what are we going to do to get this thing fired up and running? I don't feel like we have a lot of time. Missing that extra preseason game, I think, could be huge, especially with a team, trying to learn a brand new offense and brand new guy. Yeah, no, I'm not worried about them. Again, when the starters get in, we'll see where we're at, right? Yeah. But it's a first preseason game. Get those jitters out of the way. A lot of these guys, they haven't played football in a long time, real live action football, no excuse, but they're learning a new playbook. And especially even the veterans are learning Shane Waldron's new playbook. But some things to work on. I thought the The running backs look pretty solid. DJ Dallas was obviously the star of the game. And then followed by the receiving group. I mean, we are deep at receiver. And Fuller, Swain, I mean, they're going to have some tough decisions to make. And we haven't even, seen the new guy yet.
Eskridge.
Eskridge.
Yeah. Shout out to Fuller on that 1 3rd down conversion too, fighting the guy off and fighting for extra yards, catching the ball in the first place. It was a nice tight throw.
And then getting out of the tackle. And then shout out, I thought Magoo looked good. Is it Magoo?
Magoo. Quarterback Magoo, Mr. Magoo back there. Number 10, buddy. Mr. Magoo. I'm all over it.
Timberland and Magoo. But yeah. He looked good, and especially on that busted play, the busted coverage, because the free guy who should have been running cover in the running back was on the other side. Having the wherewithal to see that 4th and 4, and then not rushing and just throwing a dart, because a lot of those just get knocked down. You see when quarterbacks panic and they have that same exact throw, and he just lobbed it over the top. DJ made a hell of a catch. DJ pointed to the guy he wanted blocked, and then just made him miss the tackle. That was the comedy for me on that play. The DJ was like, "Get that guy," and then the guy hits him, and he's like, "Okay, well, I got that guy. maybe just get out of my way." There's a great mic'd up. So DJ was mic'd up for the game. So there's a great clip of that touchdown run on the Seahawks Twitter with him, doing all the grunting, and you can hear his pads moving and he's running, and I love all the little It's pretty fun. And you can hear him yelling get him, as he's pointing at the block. And it's pretty good. Do you know what? Go ahead. The next best running back I saw was a guy by the name of BJ Evans, who we said we had all offseason. Did that guy not look great on that 22-yard scamper up the middle? Made a couple people miss, kept his feet, and he looked quick. I thought he was still with us. Don't know what happened there.
I don't know what happened there either. Yeah. Not much to report as far as injuries go, which is obviously the best news of all coming out of a preseason game. Phillip Haynes had a bit of a sore knee, but I guess he'll be all right. But Geno Smith, and now here's the big offensive moment that we got to talk about. Geno Smith, concussion. He's not feeling great. He took a really hard hit on one of the very early plays of the game. Stone Forsythe, the new rookie left tackle, he kind of missed an assignment out there, and there was a free rusher coming right at Geno. And all respect to Geno, we love Geno, but we're lucky number 3 wasn't in there, right? At that moment, that was scary, man. Whole season flashed before my eyes.
But Russ usually finds a way to get out of those danger Russ situations.
Yeah. So, come on though. It leads to the obvious question about Dwayne Brown and are we going to sign him and what's going on here? And it's got Hawk fans scared, man. Me in particular.
Yeah. And to address this, you got to talk about, I think, the fact that we're in a kind of a stalemate or not going anywhere with Jamal. And we've seen this in the past. Hey, if we can't get this one done, it's on to the next important one in front of us, and none more important than right Dwayne there. In terms of the future of our offense and our quarterback. So, I think if we can't work anything out with Jamal, they're going to go turn their attention right now. I guarantee you they're trying to see what they can do to work out a possible, a year or two deal with him.
If Dwayne Brown, there's Jamal right there. We'll get into his contract in a bit. If Dwayne doesn't play in the preseason, or if they don't get this worked out in the preseason, should Russ play in the preseason? I mean, can you afford to have that kind of a missed assignment with a free rusher in the preseason, guy trying to make the team coming at, QB1? I mean, I don't want to see that.
I mean, he still needs the reps. So, maybe we just throw a tight end over there next to him and put the running back over there.
Yeah, and just tread lightly.
Yeah, we're going to roll protection that way.
Yeah, man. What's going to happen here, though? I mean, they've got to get this thing done. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I mean, Russ, we have to have a good season for him.
Yeah.
We don't want him going anywhere. We've talked about that. This is feels like a bit of a make or break season, and we got to put the pieces around him. I don't know what they're doing. They got to get all of this figured out.
Well, now that, because from all the reports, that are coming out about Jamal, that said, they'll let him play 2 years under the franchise tag, which increases by a percentage each year until they can hammer out a long-term deal because of what we gave up for him. But with that kind of being put on pause. Like, hey, we're not offering anything else. I think it's been a week since they last talked. At least that's what's been reported. The Hawks can zone in on Dwayne Brown now.
Mm-hmm. Well, they need to, man, because, I mean, if Russ doesn't get the reps, like you're saying, or even doesn't get the reps with the right players in there, then it hurts his preparation for the season, and the separation's in the preparation, right, Lofa?
That is what Russell says.
Come on.
So, yes, that's true.
Mr. Unlimited. They better start giving his left tackle unlimited dollars because he needs to get out there, man.
Yeah, we got to get something done.
Yikes.
I think they know that, though. At this point, they know that.
Yeah, well, we all know it now. And especially that play exemplified it. And like I said, I feel bad for Gino, but like we got to get something done. More paperwork, Lofa.
Nice.
So I don't know if you heard, but apparently former NBA player Lamar Odom may be returning to professional basketball in Spain soon.
Really?
I was reading a press release about how he started taking a pH balanced alkaline supplement called Balance 7, and that's what's helped him bounce back from his hospitalization in 2015. It says read it word for word, you guys. You got to bear with me. He even said, I have an enormous amount of energy, which is good for me. It's important when working out. I always need energy to level up. Couldn't agree with Lamar more. After watching him fight Aaron Carter in July's celebrity boxing match, I think it's safe to say that Balance 7 is working for him. Okay, all joking aside, Balance 7 is it balances your alkaline, everybody, and puts your pH into balance. And I'm sure our man Lofa could talk to this even more, but like, because he's a health nut, but like, you got to make sure that your pH and your alkaline and everything's all in balance. Okay. And so Lamar and Balance 7 are here for you guys. You go to balance7.com, you use the promo code.
I'm guessing it's Bleav. You didn't
That's
brief
right.
me on this, but Bleav, Bleav. Oh,
we're
there
going
it
to
is
keep
at
it
the
easy
bottom.
for everybody. Yeah. Bleav at checkout. You receive a 4-ounce bottle of My Smooth Skin with your purchase of Balance 7 products. They're all about health and wellness over there. So again, go to Balance 7, use promo code Bleav at checkout to get the promotion. I know that I'm going to be doing that. If it worked for Lamar, it can work for you too. Get your pH and alkaline and all that in line, everybody. Seahawks contracts. This is what we got to talk about a little bit more in depth though, because how does it work with the franchise tag and all that stuff? Like, we're hearing all these terms get thrown around, but for your average Seahawk fan, what does all this mean? I mean, and how do you feel about it, Lofa? Would you rather see them sign him to a traditional long-term contract, or is the franchise tag okay with you? And what does it all mean?
Who are we specifically talking about
With
right now?
Jamal. With
Okay,
Jamal, because it seems like it's headed that way, right?
Yeah. So the franchise tag is an average of the top 5 players at your position, and you take the average, and that's what you get paid, guaranteed for that year against injury and other things. So. It's not a bad deal. You get paid the average of the top 5, so you're in there in that conversation. It's guaranteed, great, but
you get paid nicely, but it's only for one season.
There's no long-term security, yeah. And you see how violent this game is and how that guy plays, like the Tasmanian devil out there. It's like, and he had a number of injuries last year because of that's the nature of the game, right? He came off week 1 with that elbow, had a groin or a hamstring later that sidelined him, so. Yeah, he's earned it. We've given up enough for him, so that's what the franchise is. And now, like what I was saying is, if we don't get something done, the reports that are coming out right now are saying they're fine with having a franchise, and then they'll do it again next year. And so it's great money up front or for 1-2 years, but you want that long-term commitment, at least 4 or 5 year deal. Like, hey, I'm going to be here. Like, my family's going to be here. So there's things past football that
we'd have to do this all over again next year, right?
It sounds like they're willing to do both sides are willing to. Hey, we'll do it again next year. And
also, it brings up an interesting question, which is, what position does Jamal Adams play anyway?
Yes.
Because the money will be different based on where he gets categorized, right? Yeah.
And I forget who ran into this situation. He was like listed as a linebacker, but he had more than 70% of rushes to 30% of drops. And so he was trying to get tagged as a D end because I think he just happened to play in a 3-4. It wasn't like Vaughn or somebody. It was a D end and a 3-4. Might have been maybe Mac. Could have been Khalil Mack. But before he got his long-term deal done. And so it does bring up the question is like, hey, he does spend the majority of his time going forward. And you might even be able to go get that DN tag the way he blitzes.
Well, because safety would be cheaper than a linebacker?
I think it's 9.5 is the average of the top 5, and the top average of the top 5 of the linebackers is like 16 or 15, something like that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's
so
like,
there's even more drama to be had, even if they try to use the franchise tag, because we'll see what it shakes out position-wise.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I
boy.
mean,
What a mess.
It is a mess, and hopefully we can come to agreement.
But you see like why Seahawks fans are frustrated, right? Because we get these big free agent names to come in, and John and Pete, they do a good job of getting these guys. But then all this contractual nightmare, it feels like the Seahawks are in this every single year with somebody. There's all this drama. And now we got it twofold with Jamal and Dwayne. What's up? Why does this always happen to us? I want a stress-free preseason, man. What's going on?
Oh man, you and me both. But yeah, I don't know. For whatever reason, it's always different. Like right now, like we have two guys at very different points in their career, right? And so Dwayne, and I mean, he's 36. I don't know how many years he even wants to play, left, but how many quality years? I mean, he's a stud. Probably could get another year or two, and then but I understand. He's like, hey, this last time I'm going to ink my name. Like, just give me what I'm worth.
Well, that's kind of what I'm asking. Like, why don't John and Pete just give these guys the contracts? Let's go here.
Yeah, well, I don't understand not signing, Dwayne because one, how important he is to, that offense and, Russ in particular. But, I feel like you got to be able to get creative and just, hammer out an extension of 1 year. So this year plus one, and then just add a little more upfront money because, we don't have a replacement. Like Stone is not ready to. I mean, we've seen it. I mean, and again, if you were going to replace Dwayne, it would have been with a high first, second, third round pick that you have a lot of faith in. But that still would have had a year to learn behind Dwayne, and we haven't got that guy. So that is what's kind of concerning is no plan going forward really at the position.
Well, do you start to worry though as a fan, like because this drama every year, this has to hurt the team. I'm talking about in terms of actual wins and losses during the season, how far they make it in the postseason. Doesn't this stuff affect it? And I just feel like in our Super Bowl run years, like we didn't really have this drama leading up to this stuff all the time. Like now it's like every year there's all this drama, and it really like, for me, it takes away from the football, and it has to as a player, doesn't it? Doesn't this wear on players in the locker room? What's the talk among the guys in the locker room when all this stuff's going on every single
day? At the end of the day, you're a professional, and you're expected to be one. And so if you're under a contract, you're obligated to play under that. Now, if you sit out, you sit out. That's, you have every right to do that. But, once you play with whoever shows up, man, and I think that's really, it sucks if your guys aren't there, but you have a commitment to the team and to each other to play as hard as you can. And under the given circumstances, if a guy's not there, he's not there. And it's not, all right, we'll go to the next guy. It's like, hey, man, we need you to step up. We're going to rally around you because oftentimes he's not the player that is sitting out. If it is Jamal sitting out or Dwayne, but don't John and Pete. I mean, look, I don't want them to like back up the Brinks truck, but don't John and Pete sort of have an obligation to the team, the players that are there, the fans to like, let's go out and get these guys and win a championship. Let's go already. Quit, all these stalemates that they come to and they don't want to budge. And this like, who's going to blink first type stuff. Like, let's just get some guys on the team and go play and win games. Like Russell's in the prime of his career. The time is now. The window is open. Let's go. Right. Yeah, I know. But I mean, they still have people they report to too. It's not like he's just opening up his own checkbook and saying, hey, here you go. And I'm not saying that's what it is, but I don't know the full circumstances of like what they're allowed to spend, even regardless of the cap. It doesn't mean just because you have that money, like it's allowed to be spent. Because like, again, you got to answer to somebody else too. So like, I can't really say what they should or shouldn't be doing because I don't know the particular what they're.
Well, we should open up a GoFundMe then or something. Maybe that's the 12. Do something on the side. and help out. Start a Jamal and Dwayne GoFundMe or something like that.
Get our left tackle back.
Well, speaking of like players in funky situations and what the heck happened, I mean, Alden Smith was released from the team. We haven't talked about it on here yet. What the heck happened? All the stories out of camp were that he was playing great, looking good, ready to have a good season. And then all of a sudden he was released. And I don't know if you read Pete's comments on it at the post game after the Raiders game here. He talked about it in the presser finally, but like, they're not really saying what happened. He's just saying, yeah, he couldn't really hang with our program. I mean, do you speak Pete Carroll? What does that mean?
No, I mean, I don't know what it means. And like, me, I hate commenting on a situation that I have no details about. So
yeah, well, none of us do. That's what's frustrating about it.
What were the specific comments that Pete said?
He just said he couldn't hang in our program. He said we gave him every opportunity to come in and do the right thing. There's like all these weird kind of phrases being thrown around, but nothing specific. So everybody's just kind of left in the dark. And again, I'm a Hawks fan who's just frustrated, man.
Well, I mean, we're left to just guess, right? And I'm guessing with his track record, unfortunately, it could be anything as little as, being late to meetings and like, Pete being like, hey man, like this is like your last chance. And, at least with us. And so, being straightforward with that. Yeah, it could be like being late to meetings, as trivial, as small as that, but it could just, there's a trust factor there that Pete and the team rely on. And if that's the case, then it's just like, okay, well, we're not going to wait and see if this gets any worse or anything. But, and I hope it's not that, he had like a relapse or something. I pray that, he's still, fine, mentally and emotionally too, and can catch on with another team. Because I'm a big fan of Alden Smith. And I love the comeback story.
Yeah, me too.
Such a beast. So really wanted to see him in a Hawk uniform. And by all accounts, you saw the videos, him throwing the sled around, throwing people around.
I know. I'm so excited.
I just keep going. 33 and a half sacks in his first 2 years. Like, I mean, this is a guy that probably could have potentially threatened Bruce Smith's, sack record of 200.
Well, we'll see what happens and see where he ends up and all that kind of stuff. Keep following the story. I don't know. I wish we'd get more specifics, and then sometimes we're just never going to, and that's just how it goes. I don't know. Hey, another sponsor for the show, Zone In. You're wearing the shirt. Pretty sweet. Did you get that shirt for free?
Oh man, I bought this shirt.
He's the owner, but also a client, guys. It's Zone In CBD.
Hair Club for Men or Zone In CBD? Which one?
Yeah, it's Lofa's company. For all of your CBD needs, go to zoneincbd.com. Use our promo code.
Maybe you've heard of it. Bleav. BLEAV.
You get 20% off of your purchases at zoneincbd.com. And then also, if you want to pick it up in person, you can do that at Bartell Drugstores up there in the PNW. Lofa, let's zone in on the NFL's top 100 players list. It comes out every single year. It's always fun to look through. So far, they have only done numbers 100 through 41, so counting backwards towards number 1, obviously. And there's been 3 Seahawks, 2 sort of. Well, the point is you got Quandre Diggs at 77, safety. Tyler Lockett, obviously wide receiver, at 76, just one apart from each other. And then KJ Wright at number 67, making the list, NFL's top 100. I don't know. Let's just chat about it. What do you think? Quandre Diggs at 77? And also, what about Quandre Diggs? It's like, without the starters playing in these preseason games, I forget about these guys. But lucky to have him, huh?
Oh, yeah. I thought he'd be a little higher. Same with Lockett. But I was pumped to make the list, right? And but yeah, he's coming off another Pro Bowl and insanely productive player, no matter where he was here, Detroit. And he's a football player through and through, man. I love having that kind of a team.
Yeah. What about Tyler Lockett at 76? I think he should be higher. I think last year he was in the 60s. Now he's at 76. Not that it really matters.
How's he going backwards after a career year? But I mean, I guess we could say the same about the next guy. But let's stay here for this one.
Let's stay with Tyler.
Tyler Lockett, one of the most instinctive football players I've ever seen in my life, regardless of position. When he came in, the stuff he was doing as a receiver, it was really like, year 5, year 6 stuff in terms of adjusting to a football, scramble routes, like just knowing, the spatial awareness, where he's out in the field, where Russ is, where the escape route is, and where the potential, landing spots for the ball could be. And it was like him and Russ had played years together, and that's how instinctually good he was. And so, 100 catches, breaks the record, 1,000 yards, ton of touchdowns, and he goes 8 or 9 spots back.
I don't get it, but he's the man. And then KJ Wright, let's move on to KJ here. Coming in at number 67 after one of the best years of his career. I don't even think he was on the list before this, but he makes the NFL Top 100 list, and he's not even on a team still. I know he can cover the flat, huh? What about it? Come on, man. Who's going to sign KJ Wright?
Insane to me. And I mean, if I'd just be taking this, snapshot, and I probably still will after, because I'm a good friend of KJ's and I love him, and just send it to all the GMs and be like, hey, did you know one of the 67 best players in the NFL is not on our roster right now? Because it's mind blowing to me, man. I mean, the guy's a stud. And again, I keep going back to the leadership, which that is what gets you into the playoffs and on deep runs and winning championships. Mm-hmm. And this guy was one of the pillars of the last decade for the Seahawks.
Yeah, I know. I want them to sign him. I don't know if they will. Who knows what's going to happen? I'm sure he's keeping in shape and all that kind of stuff. I want to see him on a roster. I'd love to see him on our roster.
Well, with the departure of Alden Smith, it brings up the point, we were texted about it, that I don't know, maybe Darrell Taylor does go to full-time, DN, and, we bring back our guy at linebacker. So, we'll see what happens. But still going to be some more Seahawks, I believe, on that list coming up.
Yeah, we had 6 players on the list last year. We've already got 3 on the list. How many more do you think go on? Who are they? What do you think?
Well, I think, you got Russ, right?
Yeah,
he's going to be in there.
He was number 2 last year, by the way. Russ was number 2 last year, so we'll see where he ends up this year.
Bobby, for sure.
Yeah.
Metcalf, you got to believe he broke into there.
I think
he wasn't
so.
on there.
That would get us to 6.
That's 6. And then, maybe I shouldn't use the term I'm holding out, but I'm holding out hope that Dwayne Brown makes it.
Dwayne Brown, yeah. What about Jamal? Jamal Adams, one of the best 100 players in the NFL for sure. That would get us to 8.
Jamal for sure. Yeah. So
and maybe 8. Chris Carson, maybe no.
Just because of the time missed again. I don't know, because I think a couple years ago when he had 11 or 1,200 yards, I thought, okay, this guy's going into the top 100 for sure, and it didn't happen. So I was like, these lists they're weird sometimes, but we definitely got at least 4 more going in. With like you said, Bobby, Jamal, Metcalf, and Russ.
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll get at least 1 more than we had last year. That's it, though, for the Seahawks podcast. We're out of time this episode, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for listening. If you got emails, send them to SeahawksPod@gmail.com. You can also hit us up on any social media. Bleav in Seahawks, BLEAVIN Seahawks. Lofa, you're the man. Anything else we missed before we get out of here?
Nah, brother.
All right, bro. We did it. Well, then let's break it down. What do you think? What do you think from this episode, huh? Contracts, franchise tags, extensions. Come on, sign our guys. What do we want to say? KJ Wright again?
Oh, sign them all.
Sign them all.
Sign all our guys, man.
Sign them all. All right, lead us through it. Come on.
All right, let us do the last one. You get it.
All right, we'll do sign them all then on 3. Sign them all on 3. Sign them all on me. 1, 2, 3.
Sign them all,
including Jamal. All right.